I am going to give my opinion on recent events involving one of the biggest grifters on X, Grummz. I think it is pointless to say who he is because most of you already know him. He was a former Blizzard employee that worked on games like StarCraft and WoW. That is more or less what you need to know. He is more known these days for his activity on X and how he dedicates his whole time supposedly fighting against DEI and woke agendas, basically cultural Marxism. He is also one of those developers that supposedly work in games but never seem to deliver or finish them. I agree with fighting cultural Marxism. I believe cultural Marxism is ruining the world, so I don't have an issue with him doing that. But the problem is that I have a very good eye for dishonest people, and most of these big anti-woke accounts on X are not trustworthy. They don't genuinely care about the issue, and they mostly care about monetizing the outrage. I am against that. I think if we want real change, we need to be genuine and really care about the problem. We must really mean what we say and not just take advantage of the current disgraceful climate in the world to make bank. Remember that Grummz was playing defense for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and pushed mediocre games like Stellar Blade just because they have fan service. Well, there is a video that search with the name Goonernomicon Grummz Part 1, and in this video the creator exposes many of the things Grummz has allegedly engaged in the past. He claims he got all of this info publicly and that he is not doxing in any way, shape or form. Which, to be fair, he didn't. I didn't saw anything in the video that puts Grummz in real life danger. More or less what it is shown in the video is that he somehow always fails at making games, gets kicked out of projects. The only successful games he was part of were the ones that he participated while working on Blizzard. He is a porn addict with weird kinks. He was the owner of different porn websites. He allegedly takes money from projects he participates in and uses them in retarded ways, and oftentimes uses these funds for personal gains. Apparently he used money from these projects to fund his own porn studio, which also failed, and allegedly he also uses weird shenanigans to avoid paying taxes. Of all of the things, the most egregious one is the allegations of tax fraud, but for me the part where he allegedly takes the funds of projects he works in to fund porn sites and his failed porn studio are very damning too. Also, the fact that he is supposedly working on a game that has been in development for years but hasn't been materialized yet, he reminds me of another character. I wonder whom. And just like this other colorful character, he also has an alter ego persona online. Grummz is Debbie-chan and other names. It's like they are cut with the same scissors. I am not going to pretend that I am perfect and that I have never done anything wrong in my life, but I haven't committed tax fraud and I try to be consistent with what I say and what I do. I wouldn't be ridiculing or condemning prostitutes of any kind if I was making an adult studio myself. It's just incoherent. Also, I am not scamming anybody, and this guy seems like a massive red flag in terms of this. And the problem with this is that he is surrounded by other yes men that just want to be around him to get views and attention to get money. You know very well the other grifters on X, the ones that keep posting the anti-woke stuff, and like I said, I am not against that message. I am against the real motives of these people, and without fear of being wrong or to sound like I'm exaggerating, I haven't interacted with any single big account on X that to me doesn't look like a fucking grifter. One way or the other, these people are in for the money, and I fucking hate them. I don't like any of them. If there is anything I truly hate is dishonesty. This is why I really dislike Asmongold too, and I have to mention him because he's one of these grifters that is not very active on X, but is very active on Twitch, and his messaging is hurting the world. The way he manipulates the population that watches him is really fucking dangerous. Dangerous not in the sense that he or his audience are criminals, no. In the sense that he's a honeypot that is gatekeeping people from seeing reality, seeing the truth about what really is going on. Guys, no, there is no big conspiracy here, it's just the Karens. Yeah, trust me guys, I used to work in the government, I was working for Greenpeace and also have a dad that is very well connected, and on top of that, I work for Night Media, an organization that gives me my talking points and hired me with the specific purpose of manipulating the masses. No guys, there is no plan to replace white men, no guys, it's the Karens, and it's the guys that want to fuck them. He is very skillful in delivering this type of manipulative messaging to keep you from really going into the rabbit hole. The other day, I dared to go against one of these grifters a bit, learning the law. He is manga lawyer on X, and he posted, "The first Berserk Kazan, AA is the future," and I responded to him, "Don't think so, people are tired of Souls-like slop with cheap artificial difficulty," and then posted the numbers of how bad that game is doing, and he blocked me for that. I had positive interactions in the past with him when I was denouncing Monster Hunter Wilds, but now that I dare to have an individual opinion that differed from his, he blocked me. What a fucking pussy, seriously. All I said was that people are tired from cheap artificial difficulty on these Souls-like games. This trend in this genre is killing it, and I am speaking the truth here, and showed him the numbers of the game. Well, he didn't like that fact and blocked me. Like I said, fucking coward. And that's the problem. These people have a narrative they want to push, a script, and no one can go against it because they don't know what to say anymore. It's like how all of these motherfucker grifters were riding the whole Wukong is game of the year, and I was probably the only one person that truly spoke about the faults of that game and that truly exposed how bad the game was. I also was already saying that the Souls-like genre was becoming way too abusive and that the difficulty of these games was truly becoming a slippery slope. Hell, I have been saying that since my first video ever, which was a review of Elden Ring and its DLC. Not even Synthetic Man had the balls to do it. He read the room and knew people were going to react negatively towards him if he said what he truly wanted to say. And I know he, just like me, is tired of the Souls-like slop garbage and the direction this genre is taking. He's tired just like me, yet he didn't say it when he talked about Wukong. I was very disappointed in him for not being genuine on that review. But anyway, the thing is that I did go against the current and face massive backlash for telling the truth. And I don't care because for me there is nothing more important than the truth. So you had all of these grifters that used Wukong, a shitty Souls-like game, to push their agendas. We are winning, this is how true gaming looks like. This is game of the year and similar messaging, all championing a terrible game just to push their narratives. Much better games released last year and nobody ever bothered to mention them, but they had to grift. And casually they do it for Chinese games. I'm not saying there is a definitive connection there, but I find really suspicious that all of these grifters are riding Winnie Pooh's dick so hard. I mean, it's not like China is promoting this cultural Marxism to destroy Western civilization, to then push a solution, which consists in you replacing your degenerated culture with theirs. It's not like that was something certain guy said in an interview years ago about how communism conquers other countries. No, nothing like that. Once again, the problem is fanaticism. This is truly the case of all these problems, the origin of this evil. People don't have critical thinking anymore. They aren't individuals, they are part of a group, and they adopt leaders and become members of a cult. It is also the rampant narcissism that is plaguing this world. Nobody is going to admit they are wrong. Nobody is humble to admit defeat, to admit failure, to admit wrongdoings. Nope. That is why you can't admit someone or something you like, someone you admire, or someone you follow fucked up. It is really that simple. The best thing you can do, and be mindful of what I'm saying here, because contrary to these people you follow, I won't ask you to follow me. I want you to be free. So the best thing you can do is train yourself to be an individual. Question everything you hear or read. You in fact don't have to trust me on anything. Develop your individuality, develop your critical thinking skills. Don't let anybody tell you you can have a dissenting opinion or be critical about something, and if they do, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of there. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Be an individual. Stop acting like sheep. You will not hear this anywhere else because everybody else expects you to be a mindless zombie. They want you to keep being part of the masses because they want to have the power to control you and get something out of that. Stop being a fanatic. Stop blindly trusting and following. Be an individual. All individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery do this to a certain degree, more or less unconsciously, but the master does this consciously, and by the use of his will, and attains a degree of poise and mental fitness almost impossible of belief on the part of the masses who are swung backwards and forward like a pendulum. The masses of people are carried along obedient to environment, the wills and desires of others stronger than themselves, heredity, suggestion, and other outward causes moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters, rising to the plane above, dominate their moods, characters, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns. They help to play the game of life, instead of being played and moved about by other wills and environment.